5-2020-22 and include attachment B as part of the meeting minutes.
Do we have a second? Okay, let the record show we have a motion by Councillor Haveman and a second by Councillor Cull. Okay, Councillor Lynch, go ahead.
I'm not sure I have anything to add at this point. I feel like we've talked about this an awful lot. I'm not sure there's anything new that hasn't been said. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Lynch. Councillor Haveman?
Thank you, Chair. First, I'd like to say that from my vantage point, this is how the process is supposed to work. County Council formulated strategic goals based on community input and dialogue, and they've been kind of massaged over many years. And those goals include economic vitality, housing, and improved access to social services. County staff then took those goals, and when an opportunity presented itself, they came back to Council for guidance on whether that option should be pursued, and Council gave the green light. I completely agree. The timing and the price is not what anyone had hoped for, but staff pursued the possibility and brought to us the results of a negotiation, which is what we are considering now. For the record, I'm actually a believer in free markets. I've actually run 2 businesses myself, and I was the former head of the Chamber of Commerce. Having said this, I support keeping the end in mind and trying new things. So I was not against the county looking into purchasing this property to meet our long-established community needs. A lot of concern has been expressed about the lack of a specific plan, but I don't think it's realistic to expect a property owner to be willing to enter into a contract and tie up their property while the county formulates a complete plan for a project. Public input for the project could take months, which would be fantastic, which I think we would all desire and benefit from. And then the input is put into maybe an RFP package, bid out, and then it comes back to a future council for approval or possible rejection. I think the fact that a property owner has the opportunity to maximize profit is part of being a free market supporter. For the record, I don't know this property owner from Adam, don't know anything about him. I only was suggesting because we were pressed on why the time crunch, why so fast. I was only speculating from all of my years of real estate experience and having year-end closings with clients who were in this position that I said, maybe it's a 1031 exchange. That's all I knew. Don't know anything about which side has the capital gains. Don't know anything about when his timeline started, etc. So I just want to make sure that I have no vested interest in the success or failure of this gentleman, other than if he keeps this property, I hope he's successful with doing something fabulous for our community. I take issue a little bit with the implication that we were in cahoots with him. Okay, actually, I just already said that. I apologize. My bad. Next paragraph. In my mind, this is not a land grab or empire building by the county. I think this is the county being proactive in trying to make something positive happen on land that has been unproductive for some time now. And while I know the purchase price is well over the assessed value, I would like to mention one point that led to my potential support of this purchase. I think the facts are clear. We have a $4.2 million delta between the assessed value and the purchase price. It's reasonable to presume that a fully developed multi-use project on these parcels, which includes more than a social service hub, which I think is established as very well needed and could benefit the community at large. There could be many, many other uses and benefits from this property that could benefit the community in many different ways, and would be public input on those projects. But I believe over time, when residents have come to enjoy and appreciate the services and amenities from such a developed multi-use parcel, they will see this more as a positive investment that has generated quality of life returns. I really appreciate comments tonight. I appreciate all the emails. I appreciate the community engagement. I appreciate that we had a variety of opinions. While a majority of the comments have been against this purchase, there have been a great number of comments in support of it, and we heard some of those comments tonight and the reasons behind those. I think what's driving all of us is to pursue ways to make this a better community. And there's different ways to get there, and that's what we can continue to have a conversation about. All that said, I will be voting no on proceeding with this purchase tonight. This was not an easy decision, as I worry about the opportunity cost and the risk that this land sits vacant, or it sits unsightly, or is developed in ways that don't help us make progress with our strategic goals. But maybe I'll be wrong on that. Maybe the current owner or maybe other private developers will be able to purchase it at a reasonable market price and enable market-driven businesses the opportunity to own their own building or control their space and provide services that we all desire. I won't give up, though, on trying to enable opportunities for a social services hub and affordable, including student and workforce housing, which I then think leads to a workforce that our small business community has also said they desperately need help with, as does the county and the hospital and UNM and the schools. I think there are positive takeaways from this experience. We need to continue creating opportunities to collaborate, to listen, learn, and improve collectively. While I feel some of the public input we received included comments that implied the county was acting in bad faith or sometimes had factually incorrect statements, a majority included thoughtful sentiments that show most of us want to make Los Alamos a better place to live and work. I also need to consider that we have many constituents with diverse interests and employers. And we have residents who want the town to look prettier, who want more affordable housing options, who want amenities closer to the high school, UNMLA, and all the neighborhoods on the north side of town. But without a doubt, most comments were against this. We hear you, we will learn, and I will be voting no. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Councilor Haveman. Councilor Cole?
I'd just like to ask Mr. Lephart if you would respond to the anti-donation issue that has been brought up and the legality of this purchase.
Sure, I'd be happy to. On the anti-donation clause, I mean, I can understand having, the county is prohibited from selling land or leasing land below fair market value. So I can understand the sort of simple legal intuition that on the other side of the equation that the county would be prohibited by the anti-donation clause from paying more than fair market value for the property. But the law is more nuanced than that. And it's well settled law that negotiated contracts like this are exempt from the anti-donation clause. And I really don't have to make that argument. It's made here by the New Mexico Finance Authority in their memo on the anti-donation clause. Excuse me. There's over 30 precedential cases on the anti-donation clause in New Mexico. All of them are annotated in this memo from the New Mexico Finance Authority. And what the ruling really states is when a local government is going out to buy something and there's a negotiated contract, there is neither a pledge of credit nor a donation. That's the nature of a negotiated contract. And what the courts have clearly said is we're generally not going to interfere with local governments conducting business and making deals to get the things they need. That the remedy, it doesn't sound in the anti-donation clause, right? These kind of contracts that are set like that. And the reason is, and the courts have said, that we're not going to interfere in local government's ability to make a good deal or a bad deal. The remedy's not legal. The remedy are elections. So this claim that this violates the anti-donation clause is not supported by the precedential cases in New Mexico, is not accepted by the New Mexico Finance Authority itself, and they have a memo with well-annotated cases in it that's available to anyone who would do a motor So, and that's true in the 42 other states that have similar provisions in their constitution, as New Mexico does. There's a recognition when the government goes out to do a deal. If this is the best deal you can get and you got to pay a premium to get something you desperately need, say an ice chiller at the ice rink, it doesn't violate the anti-donation clause to do that, right? That's what a negotiated bargain for contract is. It is categorically kind of exempt from the anti-donation clause because when you bargain to purchase something, you're not making a pledge of credit and you're not making a donation. You're making a deal. So that claim is not supported by any law. Also to address the NMAC issue, these regulations that appear to apply to counties, it's been well settled between the county and the New Mexico Board of Finance for over a decade that these regulations do not apply to the county. And it's, yes, if you simply look at the words on the paper that says these regulations apply to counties, Los Alamos is a county, well, they must be constrained by these. Once again, the law is much more nuanced than that. And it's rooted in the county being an incorporated county and the Municipal Charter Act, which defines the county as a municipality, right? We're a municipality for a lot of intents and purposes under state law. And if you look at these regulations, they clearly don't apply to municipalities. The county back in 2015, 2016 presented this to the Board of Finance, and they agreed that these regulations do not apply to the incorporated county of Los Alamos. So the claim that we're violating the law if we don't follow this NMAC regulation is simply demonstrably false. So that's where we are with that.
Thank you for that explanation. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Lepard. Any other comments?
Madam Chair?
Yes. Who's?
Yeah, I had my hand raised for a second. I guess.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Councilor Ray.
I'd like to use another question now.
No, I have just a comment to make.
I've had my hand raised for a while. I actually have to leave also, so I understand that there's been a lot of conversation, but I don't know if you recognized me before. I had my hand raised.
No, sorry. Go ahead. I saw it and then got sidetracked. So go ahead.
Yeah, I had my hand raised before Mr. Lepard was talking also. But I guess if you want to recognize, I need to leave also, and I think we had another counselor that had to leave, so I just wanted to call the question.
Okay.
Chair?
I would like one minute.
The question has been called. So now, what is required under parliamentary procedure is there has to be a second to that. If there's a second to that motion to call a question, you get the number right. 2/3 of the council will have to approve that. There's no debate on a motion to call a question.
So you said we need a second on this?
Right.
Okay.
If there's no second, then Councilor Rieger can.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'd kind of like to second, but I'd also like to be able to give Councilor Rieger, certainly if he only needs a minute, I'd be very happy to let him have that.
Is that allowable?
That's the chair's prerogative.
Yeah.
I'll withdraw. I mean, if it makes it easier, can I withdraw that request and just allow Councilor Rieger to have his minute?
Okay. Go ahead. Thank you, Councilor Riding. Councilor Igor.
Thank you, Chair. Well, I just want to say that there's no connection between all these different things that are being raised, whether it's car washes or the county social services hub. We don't need to make this separate from the purchase. The purchase by itself is just buying land. There's a lot of things we could do with the social services hub, and this is not really connected to the same thing. And the same thing, nobody knows they're going to build a car wash. That is just speculation that's been put up publicly. So we're not choosing between those three things. What we're choosing to do here today is pay an awful lot of money for a piece of land way above valuation And frankly, it looks, someone could even say it looks corrupt. And I don't see anybody showing up for meetings in a new Rolls Royce or anything, but it's still, it's got to look to the public as inappropriate use of public funds. So we can't pay that much over. And I think we can come up with a lot of good plans for social services, including expanding into the same building. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Rebar. Councilor Hand?
Just a very quick comment. I wanted to appreciate, or basically I appreciate all the input from our citizens. And the majority that I've seen says that they don't support the purchase. There have been many good arguments that have been made, and I hear you. Simply stated, this property purchase is too expensive. If it was me personally, I wouldn't buy something like this, just with my personal money. And so how could I do this with our county's money? I think we should look somewhere else to consider other ideas to move forward with an SSD hub. We should reevaluate our path forward based on financial forecasts that consider new information about potential economic uncertainty. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Councilor Hand. Okay. Excuse me. I'll withhold my comments because we have two councilors who have to leave. So we'll move on to the vote. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilor Durkis?
Yes.
Councilor Hammond?
No.
Councilor Cole?
No.
Councilor Rebar?
No.
Councilor Lynch?
Yes.
Councilor Riley?
No.
Councilor Hand?
No.
Motion fails, 2-5.
Okay. Let the record